So what are the best schools in Perth? Is it public or is it private? Is it Perth Modern School or Christchurch Grammar School? Now, if you clicked on this very video, you probably think that it all comes down to school rankings based on ATAR results. And whilst that might be somewhat true, we have to always remember, like I've said in very similar videos here and here, that ATAR rankings and school rankings isn't everything. Students at top ranked schools can still underperform, and students at okay schools that are not in the top 10 or even not in the top 20 can go on to do, amazing things. So whilst I'm going to be talking about in this particular video the best public and private schools in Western Australia in 2026, I also want to shed light on how you should be thinking about choosing schools and how to make the most out of the school that you end up going to. So without further ado, let's get into it. All right, let's start things off with public schools, because I think there's this massive assumption among students and parents that if you want top ATAR results, you have to go to either a selective public school or a private school. But I believe that is simply not true. I think some of the highest performing schools in Western Australia, specifically within Perth, are actually public schools, and they're consistently producing top ATAR scores. So here's what the 2025 school rankings in WA showed. At number 1, we have Perth Modern School. Now, Perth Modern is WA's only fully selective public school, meaning you have to sit a special examination to actually get in. Now, Perth Modern likely has the highest concentration of 99 plus ATARs, highest number of subject exhibitions, and has consistently ranked as the top academic school in Perth for a long time. So it begs the question of what actually makes them special? What differentiates them? Well, I believe it comes down to student culture. Selective students are usually more high achieving, the learning space is a lot faster than non-selective schools, and the majority of the environment is intensely focused on academic success. Now, at number 2, we have Willetton Senior High School. Now, Willetton in 2025 actually produced a Beasley Medal winner. That's the top WAC student in the entire state for a given subject. And I think this particular school consistently punches above their weight in terms of scoring top ATARs. So again, what makes them different? Well, they have strong academic extension programs, clear teaching feedback systems, and a culture that values depth over just ticking boxes. And at number 3, we have Ross Moyne Senior High School. Now, I think Ross Moyne has been killing it for years. In 2025 alone, they too also produced a Beasley Medal recipient, but specifically in the vet category, which shows they're not just focused on traditional pathways. They're producing results in both ATAR and vocational streams. And I think it's important to mention this because not every student's path to success or to school success is the same, and Ross Moyne kind of gets that. Now, I'm going to put the full top 10 public schools list on screen right now for you to see who else made the top 10 list. You'll see names like Applecross, Shenton College, and Churchlands all consistently in the top 10. But here's what you really need to understand. Being in the top 10 doesn't mean that other schools are bad. It just means that these schools within the top 10 have systems, cultures, and resources that consistently produce high-end results. Now, if the school you want to get into isn't on the list, or you're at a school, again, that isn't within the top 10, it doesn't mean that you can't succeed at your respective school. I mean, I look at myself and I went to a school that no longer even ranks in the top 100 here in Sydney, and I think I turned out all right. Now, you might need to just be a little bit more intentional about finding the right support at these less ranked schools, whether that may be tutoring, study groups, or some form of mentorship. All right, now let's talk about private schools, because I think there's an assumption here as well that, if you pay $30,000 to $40,000 a year, that you can somehow guarantee a better ATAR result. Now, that can't be guaranteed, but it definitely increases the chances of doing really well. Here's what the 2025 results showed for the top private schools in Perth. Now, at number 1, we have Christchurch Grammar School. Now, Christchurch actually topped the private school rankings last year with strong ATAR distributions, a high number of subject exhibitions, and deep academic extension programs. They've kind of been doing this for decades, and they've got it down to a type of science. Small class sizes, strong teacher-student relationships, and a culture where academic excellence isn't just expected. But the thing is, you're not just paying for higher quality teaching or expansive resources. You're actually paying for infrastructure, networks, and a peer group that's largely self-selecting for families who value education. Now, at number 2, we have Methodist Ladies College, or MLC. Now, MLC has ranked near the top for girls' schools in WA for years, and in 2025, they had excellent results across both humanities and sciences, which shows subject breadth, not just students, stacking high-scaling math subjects, for example. And finally, at number 3, we have St. Hilda's Anglican School for Girls. Now, St. Hilda's has been climbing the rankings steadily over the past few years with a high proportion of 90 plus ATARs and strong performance and particularly English and science related subjects. Now, again, I will show you the top 10 private school list for Perth in 2026 on screen now. You see Hale School, Carmel, St. Mary's, Scotch College, all producing consistent results. Okay, so now that we've gone through the actual school rankings, I want to touch on how you should be going about choosing the right school for yourself. And I think the first step is all about proximity and commute time. If you think about it, if you're spending hours a day commuting, that's hours that you could be putting towards studying, sleeping, or any fun activities or extracurriculars you like to do. So I believe, a school that's 15 minutes away and ranked number 12 might actually be a better choice than a school that's an hour away that's ranked number 3. Now, the second thing to consider is school culture and fit. Not every high-achieving student will thrive in a high-pressure, competitive environment. Some students need that energy to actually push them, whilst others might just crumble under it. Now, if you're naturally anxious or you struggle with self-comparison, putting yourself in a school where everyone's obsessed with rankings and academics might do more harm than good. I'd actually suggest visiting the school yourself, talking to current students and parents, and getting a feel for whether the school environment actually matches your personality and interests. Now, number 3 is looking into subject offerings and pathways. Now, this one's practical, but you have to really ask yourself, does the school offer the subjects and pathways you're actually interested in exploring? Now, if you want to do, specialist maths or chemistry or physics, you need to make sure the school has strong teachers in those fields and offers them consistently across the years. And if you're leaning toward vocational pathways or even more creative subjects, you need to check if the school actually values those or they just pay a lip service to them. At the end of the day, you ideally want a school that can genuinely support and guide the path that you actually want rather than the path they wish you were on. Now, luckily for you, you have access to KISS Academics one-on-one private tutoring, where we have an array of high-achieving Perth tutors who can help put you back on the right path to academic success. If you want to check that out, I'll link it in the description, but that could be the first step to sorting all your academic issues. And so there you have it, the best public and private schools in Perth, and importantly, how to actually choose the right school for yourself and thrive in the school you're already in. I think school rankings are a blunt measure of what makes up a good school, but it's the only measure we currently have. It only reflects academic success without considering things like proximity to the school, culture, resources, support systems. So when looking for the best schools, keep these other factors in mind and not just focus on academic performance and school rankings. Now, if you found this video helpful, give it a like and let me know in the comments what you think the best school in Perth is and why. And if you want more specific breakdowns on ATAR scaling, study strategies, or choosing the right subjects, make sure you subscribe to the KISS YouTube channel so you don't miss out on any future videos. Try to enjoy the return to school, and I will catch you in the next one.